Now we can call this Landslide Larry, Rise, Death, and Resurrection. It's a tragic comedy of sorts. You see, that's the comedy part apparently, or the effect. The thing is, I'm frozen in time and have been since 1996. When my presidency was abruptly truncated, or I should say when they stole re-election for a second term, and I never understood what had happened. I was told, but I didn't believe it, but I was finally explained to me in detail in 2001, 5 years later. In any case, I never got over it. I'm frozen in time, trapped. There's got to be a psychological term for this. I'm frozen in time, academically, politically, economically and financially, socially, professionally, frozen in time to 1996. I'm a child of the 80s. You know, I came of age in the 80s. I love the 80s music, but my peak was really in the 90s. We're here to resurrect this again. The students of Albany who know me from back in the day already understand all of this. Many of them are watching this video. You know how much I love you guys. Always have and always will. You know this. We can do this all over again. We can do this on the national level because America needs saving now, not just student life at Albany. We shall talk. Meanwhile, I'm frozen in time, like Han Solo. It's crazy. Yeah. As the Greek philosopher said, his name was Heraclitus. As the Greek philosopher Heraclitus said, character is fate. Character is destiny. We are our character. Our destiny is made by our character. Our character is made by our present and our past, typically our social environment. This starts with family. Just to give you where I come from, picture an incredibly sexually repressed and repressive Jew woman, okay? And a nice puppy who really doesn't know anything. He's innocent, okay? His name was Marshmallow. He was my best friend. And I was in 5th grade, and we were just, I was just roughing up a little wrestling, and the mother comes in and says, "Oh, Larry, make him stop." I said, "Well, we're wrestling." She says, "He's not wrestling. Don't you know what he's doing?" I said, "What's he doing?" He says, "He's rubbing his penis against your leg because it makes him feel good. Marshmallow, bad dog, get down." To this day, I work shit jobs. I can barely survive, except maybe on my wits. You can draw a long but direct straight line from incidents such as those to my present. That's not what I'm here to talk about, however. I'm here to talk about your present and our future. America is dying. I am not joking. This is not funny. America is dying. The leftist, particularly feminist ascendancy, is castrating our men, our youth. They're killing off the classics, that's ancient Greek, ancient Roman studies, in exchange for gender studies, with plenty of dabbling in business and nanotechnology. This is more of a stream of consciousness kind of thing we're doing today, but there's a lot I have to share, and we need to save America while we still can. I'm going to tell a little bit about my childhood, now that we got the dog penis story out of the way, and let you know, these guys are laughing in the background. It's true though, all of this is true. And let you know what we can do to go to the future. First of all, a little background. I'm an idiot savant. I was born an idiot savant. The parents thought I was going to be a Mozart of sorts, so they sent me to a music school called Yamaha. To this day, I don't remember a fucking thing except the cute little school bag, the blue school bag with a cute little bird, the logo on it. My father told me, I was 4 years old, my father told me that I would fall asleep in class, but as soon as I would wake up for the exam, I always got 100 and everything. I don't even remember a fucking thing except the little school bag. I do, however, remember kindergarten very well. My teacher, Miss Lippman, was the first formative influence, truly formative influence on me outside my own family, and this one a positive one. She just passed away, I believe, April 18th of advanced dementia. I'm still in touch with her son, who's an author. I couldn't ask her all the questions that I had, but one thing I do remember, my dad gave me a book. It's called Know the United States or Know the U.S. I have the same exact copy of the book that he gave me, the exact book that he gave me. I had cut out pictures, photographs of the presidents of the United States and of the states, and I traced their shapes, and I made a scrapbook, and I brought it in, and I did it for show and tell. I still remember Mrs. Lippman grabbing me by the wrist, I didn't know what I had done wrong, and taking me around to all the other classes and teachers and students and showing me off. I didn't realize that other people don't do this stuff. She was so proud of me. This is one of several, probably 10 maximum active memories I have of this blessed woman, Mrs. Lippman, who just passed away. So I was always into this stuff, memorizing, learning, United States history, patriotic stuff, everything was the flag growing up. And I remember by the '88 campaign, that's 1988, Bush versus Dukakis, we're talking about whether it should be a constitutional amendment to ban burning the flag. Never mind constitutional rights and liberties and freedom of speech and all that stuff. Who the fuck in any nation has a national diatribe about whether they should burn their own nation's flag or not? Those were at least the freaks. They were the insurgents, and we patriots were the establishment back then, to the extent that I've ever been established, let alone part of any establishment. Now, we're the freaks, and we're in real fucking trouble. We're in real trouble. I don't care if you're a liberal, a leftist, a right-wing conservative, or what I call myself, a raging moderate, which is what Al Gore in the 1988 Democratic primary campaign called himself. He had already gone way left by '92, but in '88, he was considered a very right-wing Democrat and a patriot back then. I'll take some questions from these wonderful guys who set this whole gig up. If you want to throw me some softballs, curveballs, hardballs.
Well, first of all, I think you should say who you are.
Oh, I'm a fucking idiot. I didn't even say who I am. They don't even know that I really exist. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. René Descartes. My name is not René Descartes. My name is Lawrence Frederick Kaufman, as in LFK. Lawrence Frederick Kaufman.
AKA Landslide?
My nickname given to me by Judge Larry J. Rosen, former county judge. He was on the bench at the time. Gave me the nickname Landslide Larry.
Why did he give you that nickname, though?
That's where I'm going to tell you where it came from. The people who earned me that nickname were largely, not exclusively, but largely the black community of Albany in Arbor Hill. Arbor Hill is the Harlem of Albany. And it too will have a Harlem Renaissance one day. But I started off as a Democratic committeeman candidate for, it's called member of county committee. It's just a Democratic Party position. And I got a little bit over 90% of the vote, most of it legitimate, all right? And based on that, Judge Rosen gave me the nickname Landslide Larry. I got a little bit of 90% of the vote in the 3rd Ward, 10th District, City of Albany, on September 13th, 1994 in the Democratic primary. It started everything. From that, I took that victory to campus and immediately started running for student president with a tremendous amount of help from a tremendous number of very, very good people who wanted nothing more than a friend and to help a friend. And there are people to this day that I'm addressing right fucking now. Ralphie Montero of La Crosse, that's you. I did not forget you either. I remember the Primus story. I remember the students of Albany. This is dedicated to them. Talk to me, guys. Come on. Hit me up. Rough me up a little here. I'm getting started and I don't have alcohol.
Why don't we go back to your high school days?
Sure. High school, I was not a social butterfly in high school so much as a bit of a character, an eccentric. I was hugely into the National Bible Contest for youth, and that was through my local Hebrew school, which I did at night. My first taste of fame was in my Orthodox Jewish youth group, even though I'm not religious myself and never have been really, but I love to study and learn. So you know, I was a social butterfly there. I like to be the big man on campus and, you know, make friends with everybody and be the fixer. And one of the things with the Hebrew high school thing was this elective course they gave us, National Bible Contest. You win a free trip to Israel. If you win the national, you win a free trip to Israel to take part in the international. So I went on and I studied, I disciplined myself, and that's what I did for 4 years of high school, basically. But things were so bad at home with the family that I was getting ready to run away from home. I would have done it as early as 8th grade when I was first planning to leave home, but for the fact that I loved that dog Marshmallow so much. If he had not died during my college years, I would have graduated on time. I never would have become Landslide Larry. And God knows anything I'm able to do in history would probably never have happened. I would have come back home, spent his final years with him, and then done God knows what. As it is, however, once he died, I had nothing and nobody to go back to, so I stayed in school forever on and off, basically, and I was a perpetual student. By the time I was 27, I was running against the captain of the football team to become student president. That's where the glory years really, truly began. And I wish I had more of a script, or at least some index cards to read to you and tell you some stories. We've had some great things, but you, the students of Albany, already know this. You already know this. The fraternities were especially good to me, and the athletics teams and the freshmen.
Did you play athletics?
No, I was never much of an athlete, but I'm a huge athletic supporter. I've always, glad somebody finally got that. That was like a boomerang joke, you know, get on the way back. It's also lifted from Grease, the film. You know, remember Eve Arden, the principal, she says, and remember, if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter. Great line, I always like that. No, I was a huge fan, and still am, of the Albany Great Danes football
What
team.
years were you in high school?
High school was from 81 through 85 inclusive. I graduated in June of 85. The truth is I actually dropped out of school the last day I set foot in high school, I think just to say goodbyes, was January 7th, 1985. I was gonna run away from home then finally, and I'd worked out a deal with a local rabbi from the Young Israel Synagogue to be a live-in janitor, which is what I wound up being in the fraternity house later on. It's funny. But, excuse me, I'm getting a call. No, I did not script this. Is this my call? No, don't stop it. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep running. Is it running? Hellcat, talk to me. Talk to me. They're doing a documentary about me. Can I put you on speaker? Hellcat, you're live. You're on speaker. What's that?
Landslide, the wife. Hey, oh, Larry, my wife's on. I gotta go. I'll call you back in a minute, okay?
Sorry, I'll be right here. Call back.
Okay.
This is a very disgruntled Washington attorney. He's so miserable, pissed off. He calls. I'm his drug. He calls me to hear a crazy story, a Joni story, a Pollock story. Ray Pollock was the greatest boss, the craziest boss I ever had, the most fun. Joni is my hostile mother.
So what was the best job you ever had?
Technically, the best job I ever had, certainly the nicest job I ever had, was working in the airport gift shop at the Albany International Airport. I had an FAA security clearance and everything. This is just prior to 9/11. This is beginning in 2000 into 2001. The way I fucked that one up was because I called the boss and told him I had to leave right away to go to the Albany County Democratic Committee Endorsement Committee for upcoming election because I wanted to run against the mayor of Albany's enemy, who is currently the city council president, called the Common Council President, in order to help him and make myself famous, and then have us, in my eyes, run as a like almost like a surrogate father-son dynamic duo for governor and a lieutenant governor respectively. Little did I realize, however, that it wouldn't work out that way. In any case, it cost me the job, so I got fired the next day for that. But that was the greatest job. I didn't have to produce anything. It was, see, all the job did was promote local museums, and I got to read books about the museums all day. It was the greatest fucking job.
What was the
It was from
worst
6
job you
a.m.
had?
I've had a lot of worse jobs. It was 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then I had time for my next job, Best Buy, from like 3 to 11 or 3 to 10 p.m. The worst job that I've ever had was probably being the full-time bartender, or one of the worst jobs I've ever had, the full-time bartender at the Maine Made Inn, a colonial mansion, great place, but it was taken over by a family of fucking jerks. They figured they would knock down, this is a colonial mansion, okay, where basically you practically need this is an exaggeration, you need practically an act of Congress to change the fucking wallpaper on the inside, and they thought they were going to be allowed to knock down the colonial mansion's room and build a 400 person dance floor with a dance hall on this, and they're just horrible. The 20-year-old manager, before she wrapped her car around the tree in the Bronx with her boyfriend, would come in, and the first thing I'd see was her angry face.
Was that before or after the accident?
Yeah.
That was before the accident. She would always come in mad. The first thing I see is my angry 20-year-old female boss's face, if I wasn't miserable enough coming into work. Yeah, I had just lost all of my money in the stock market.
What year was that?
This would have been, let's see, this would have been 2008. 2008, after May or June, possibly by July of 2008. Yeah. And I've worked, we counted a friend of mine, we counted a bunch of jobs, easily over 70 and probably over 80 jobs if you don't count just specifically intended seasonal or temporary jobs. I've had probably 12 jobs, maybe 15 in the last 3 or 4 years. No shit. Yeah. Of course, I've sometimes held 4 and rarely 5 jobs at the same time also. Most recently, through Christmas, I've held jobs at a big box retailer. I don't want to name these names, because I could lose jobs. or burn bridges. I don't want to do that. Big box retailer where I still work, a discount store, a supermarket, and what's the other one? And a clothing company. Yeah, mostly shit jobs, but some great people at times, and some of them, you know, most times, if not all times.
Well, could you describe some of the shittier people that you worked with?
Oh my God.
In detail.
One of the
no names.
craziest
No
people I've
names.
ever worked for, and without mentioning names, but anybody who hears this fucking voice knows exactly who the fuck I'm talking about. You asshole. And that's when he wasn't mad at me. This is a guy who had a jewelry store up in the outskirts of Albany, in the suburbs of Albany. And within 2.5 weeks, I don't even know what I'm dealing with here, okay? I'm listening to him on the phone with American Express. And he says to her, and I'm just hearing his side of the conversation. No, miss, no, don't give me that. No, you're giving me a jerk-off job. That's what you're giving me, a jerk-off job. Don't be giving me a jerk-off. What do I got to do to get some action out of you people? But maybe I got to wish something terrible on you. Is that what I got to do? I got to wish something. All right, your mother should get a cancer and die a slow, painful death. Click. And I'm like, I was a 22-year-old, open-mouthed, relatively innocent, sheltered kid. I was like, and I said to the manager, I said, is he always like this? He says, oh, he was worse before you came here. I said, what are you talking about? He said, oh, you should have seen him in the early years. I said, how could it be worse than that? He hates American Express, Larry. He hates American Express. This was 1989, and back then, American Express took 5% of the transaction as the dealer's cost, as the merchant's cost. So as Mr. Pollock once said to me, he says, whenever I want to fuck somebody, I always pay with American Express. We walked down the mall to S&K Men's Warehouse, and he says, he takes us American Express, he throws down the table. Now, I'm a cashier today, and I don't like it when they throw anything down to me. These fucking scumbags, okay? So anyway, so I said, how could he possibly have been worse than this? He says, oh, you sure heard him back in the day. He hates American Express. They made a mistake. He made a mistake. Back then we had charge plates. We had to calculate the tax and add it up. And of course, he couldn't do simple math, the boss. This is a guy who had been a low-level fixer or loan shark for the you-know-who. So anyway, and he used to say to me, he was a Jew who hated Jews, mind you. He was a Jew. He says, no, but I wouldn't join the mafia because they wouldn't let me join because a Jew can't join. They won't let a Jew rise. No, it's because he couldn't keep his fucking mouth shut because he would tell all the stories. I'm wondering how the whole mall knows about Jimmy and Joni because everything I was telling him about my family was all around the mall before he was finished with his lunch break. It's because he can't keep his mouth shut. In any case, so the manager says to me, oh, he was worse before you came here. I said, how much worse could he have been? He hates American Express. You should see American Express. He made a mistake. They passed it. He says, Miss, no, I want you to fix this. No, Miss, let me ask you something, Miss. Do you give your father a blowjob like you're giving me? So he says, she hung up on me, Murray. So I says, Ray, what do you expect me to talk like that? So he says to me, yeah, I got news here. I would answer him back. And he would have too. I can tell you so many crazy stories about this gentleman, if you think he's a gentleman. He's unbelievable. There's a cat story that I'll share in another episode when I don't identify the person, but it's really, really sick. What other jobs have I worked?
Well, let's go to young Larry.
Okay, young Larry.
Let's go to young Larry. Let's say 5, 6 years old. Summertime,
5,
spring,
6 years
winter.
old. Oh, they sent me to day camp. I used to beg my parents, please don't send me away to day camp. See, with the Episcopalians, the upright citizens and the high class, Americans. In the old days, kids are to be seen and not heard. With the Jews, it's the exact opposite. Jewish kids are not to be heard, not to be seen, just heard about. Oh, my Maury, he's so smart. He got the award for junior high. He did so well. Oh, where is he this summer? I haven't seen him. Oh, we sent him away to sleepaway camp. For his own good. He should be with kids his own age. And the Jewish girls also. You don't want him going with their shiksa this early in life, especially. So I used to beg them not to send me away to day camp. But my first day camp was between the Jewish Y, which is between kindergarten and first grade. My camp counselor's name was Nadine. The big thing back then was pirates. Captain Hook. I was a huge fan of pirates. I still am to this day. Pirates are pretty good guys. Not the scumbags off the Somali coast these days, but or in ancient Roman times, but in the colonial era, like 1600s, 1700s. Really, the 17th century and very early 18th century was the height of the pirate era.
Not the Pittsburgh Pirates, right?
I have nothing against Pittsburgh, mind you, but I didn't mean those Pittsburgh Pirates. No, and I'm a Danes fan anyway. Okay, and because of John Franco, this is for you, John Franco, up in Albany. And because of John Franco and the fact that I'm originally from Flushing, Queens, and was basically a Mets fan, I'm a Mets fan to this day. Let's go, Mets, go! John Franco, I've kept my word to you since 2001. Thank you, sir. What's the connection between all this? His father had a hairstylist place in the mall where I also worked in the jewelry store. But his son asked me he asked me if I'm a Mets fan or a Yankees fan. And I said, well, really neither, if you think about it. He said, could you be a Mets fan for me? I said, of course for you, John Franco. And I still am to this day. Yeah. But I've never regretted being a Mets fan. I love the underdog. I'm from Flushing, Queens. I do like the bright blue, you know, and I have nothing against the Yankees, God forbid. You know, most of the upstate people are from, you know, the Yankees clique, and they're Yankees fans. I have no problem with them. You know, during a Subway series, we would get into a little bit of an argument, but John Franco will understand if I soft pedal it a little bit at that point. I remember by 1986, in fall of '86, I guess it was October, during my German class, which was at night, it was either German, it had to have been German 102, the campus exploded. The class was sometime between 7:15 and 9:05 p.m., and the Mets had just won the series. It was great.
Do you speak German?
Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen, aber ich muss so viel mehr versuchen.
Now, what did you just say?
Oh, I speak a little bit of German, but I need to practice much more. Ich habe ein Jahr Deutsch studiert an der SUNY. I've studied 1 year of German at the SUNY University. That's the University of Albany.
Just said?
That's what I just said. But I've studied 1 year of German at the SUNY University, University of Albany in this case. But I also did take from May 11th to May 25th of 1987. I did. It's true, for $207. And here's the funny thing. It cost $207. It took place at a summer camp in Camden, Maine. Camden, Maine, the area code of Maine is 207 also. And if that's not crazy enough, one of our fraternity houses was 207 Maine where we lived, at Main Street. You know?
How do you remember?
I'm an idiot savant with numbers. This is my point. Okay? But it's funnier than that. Now, what's that got to do with any of my...
Every word you're saying, I
Believe
know
it, it's all true. It's all fucking true. Now I had to piggyback these things, dovetail these together. I got my dad to send me to the University of Maine in Camden, and I don't care if it's May 11th to the 25th. It's cold as hell up there. Well, actually, hell's not cold. It's freezing at night there. Okay. I had to, you know, sign a contract, agreeing to speak, read, and write nothing but German, and they caught me reading a book by what is it? Hitler, A Study in Tyranny by, John Toland, I think it was. And Herr Zolich, that was somebody ratted me out, obviously, because he comes right into the bunk room like a Nazi himself. Nice guy, don't get me wrong. Confiscates my book, walks right out. And then later on during the evening hours, brings it out and chastises us, castigates us all, but especially me, in German, regarding reading an English book. Not that he had a problem with the Hitler part, just the fact that it was in English. Was kann ich sagen? What can I say? So anyway, and now I was supposed to go meet up with my spring regional event for the Orthodox Jewish Youth Group National Conference of Synagogue Youth, or NCSY. So I made it so that when I got right back from Maine, that I could go right to the spring regional. And I wanted to go in style, so I took a limo. Problem is, I get up to upstate. Okay, I fly back from Maine. I take a limo from Albany to the campgrounds in upstate New York, and things deserted. Apparently, I missed it by a fucking day. A day. I take a fucking limo to nowhere. It's a metaphor for so much of my life. It's true. These are true stories. These are true stories. I originally wanted to take a helicopter to land on the grounds. All I could afford was a limo. Yeah, that was 1987, May 25th. Camp Mogen Avraham.
So how'd you find out that you were there a day late?
Because there was nobody fucking there, just me and the driver, just me and the limo driver. And then I confirmed it like later. I was supposed to come on the last day of spring regional.
What did the limo driver say?
He was nice, but one of my fucking scumbag friends from my chapter, whom I had thought very highly of, he was just laughing at me, making fun of me like a real dick, like with a real mean edge. I don't talk to him this day. His biological brother wound up going to Albany, and I met up with him, didn't even recognize him. Good kid. His name is Randy. I met him in the rugby bar, and I never even asked him about his fucking brother. Yeah. This is what people do to you. You know, you got to go through 1,000 people and hundreds of friends before you find a few good ones. Yeah, like you're going to see a few good ones watching this thing and commenting on YouTube. We got some good friends out there. I feel it's like romper room. I started with Ralphie Montero, but let me tell you, there's Philroy Keith Johnston, Todd Wagner, Chris Lochi.
Shout out to Prince.
No, these guys are deserving of much more than a shout out. These are the greatest guys. These are the guys who made me president. These guys who kept me president. All right. Let me tell you about Ralphie Montero. Okay. I knew Ralphie back when I was running for president and serving as president. We're talking about 94 to 95 school year, and then president 95 to 96 school year. Let's fast forward ahead to the fraternity house. Okay. I've now pledged. Actually, I didn't even pledge yet. I haven't pledged yet, but I was living in the fraternity house, just about getting ready to pledge a year later. All right. But meanwhile, I haven't pledged. Moving there. And the commander, that's John Johnson, brother Johnny, Jumpin' Johnny Johnson, okay? He says, yo, guys, look at this. And he shows us on his computer. There's just some kind of an alumni website. I couldn't find it. I can't find it to this day, but we saw it that day. This is June of 2003. We just moved back into the fraternity house at West Street, okay? And he says, hey, look at this Landslide adventure here. And you know, the alumni on this page, they say what they're up to. And Ralphie Montero says what he's doing, you know, great to see all this. And in giant caps, with lots of exclamation marks, Landslide Larry rules. Now, I only did him two kinds. Besides the extreme respect that I've always had for him, love him, adore him, and always show him, I did only two things for him, small things, especially the first one. But he was from Albany, La Crosse. He was the greatest guy. And this is a guy, the word goes around, I hope this is okay, Ralphie. He apparently did stair dives. Stair dives, dive downstairs.
Yeah. Show us.
No, I've never done it myself. I'm not that fucking crazy. I'm crazier, but I'm not that crazy in that way. I'll get naked giving a speech for the students, but I'm not going to dive downstairs and fracture my skull and lose my mind. It's my only, you know, mind is a terrible thing to waste. Right? Especially this mind. I've been wasting it most of my fucking life. So anyway, all I did for Ralphie Montero, he says to me, if you ever, Landslide, if you ever get elected president, do me a favor, if you ever, no, I think I was already president, if you ever, maybe it was before I got elected. No, it was a campaign promise, so it was before I got elected. He says, if you ever get elected president, if you ever bring Primus to campus, just get me a ticket, that's all I ask. I said, of course, you have my word, Ralphie. He was so grateful just for the promise. Now, during the summer of '95, we're cleaning out the SUNY co-op called SUNY Tunes. That's the record co-op, okay? And I found it rolled up a small Primus poster. You remember the Wizard of Oz? You know, well, you don't need a brain. All you need is a diploma, you know, or you don't need a heart. You just need a testimonial, or you don't need a courage. You just need an award, a medal. So I figured I'd give him something symbolic. So I saved this for Ralphie when he came back from the summer, and he was so happy to get the Primus poster. I know he thought that's all he was ever going to get in the way of Primus from me, because it's all I ever thought, and I didn't think we'd get that. I found it behind like a table or something. All right, it's true. It was like hidden, you know. And sure enough, the athletics department. This wasn't the student government that put on this particular concert, but the athletics director, Milt Richards. Shout out to Milt. You're a great guy, brother. I don't care if your first name does mean fish sperm. Roe means fish eggs. No, roe, R-O-E. You know what caviar is, right?
Yes,
caviar is roe. That's fish sperm.
Yes.
Caviar is fish eggs. Fish eggs. That's roe, R-O-E.
So when I eat sushi, am I swallowing? Is that essentially?
No, because it's eggs, not sperm.
Okay.
But I wouldn't think any less of you because you're my friend.
Okay.
You know, we cut slack for our friends. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So fish roe is eggs. Fish sperm is milk. No offense, Dr. Milton Richards. Okay. So I asked, so I find out that they're putting on primes, and I got a fucking hard on now, because I can't fucking believe I'm able to keep a campaign promise that I never thought I'd even be able to come close to fulfilling, but even the terms was I just have to do it if he does it. So I go to him and I ask for 2 tickets, because presumably Ralphie's gonna bring a date. He's a popular, good looking guy, he's Italian, you know? All right, so I track him down, I find him. I don't know what to say. The gentleman can't thank me enough. He remembers that I remember. He noticed that I remembered my boy, his boy, remembered him. This is important. People are important. Campaign promises are very important. You get a reputation for keeping promises. God knows how many people he told back then, let alone online afterwards, you know? We didn't even have the internet much back in 94, 95. I didn't know anything about it until 96, 97, how to use it. And I didn't start using it until 97, 98. In any case, so I give him the tickets. And I'm very happy about this. How do we get started? How do we get onto this? The presidency?
If you could run for president
I'm going to run for president.
of the United States,
Of course. Of course.
what would your campaign slogan be as president?
Making America great together. Making America great together.
It's actually pretty good.
The tagline is Phoenix Rising. The Phoenix is a mythical bird.
Glenn great again?
Sorry, sir?
Will you make Glenn great again?
Were you just
He's already
talking
great.
about the Phoenix?
You know about the Phoenix? Fuck. What do you know about the Phoenix? The Phoenix is my fraternity,
No, you're going to say something about a mythical bird.
not
and I just-
mascot, that's Minerva. I'm trying to think. The Phoenix is our metaphor. I interrupted you, sorry.
No, I'm more curious about this metaphor.
How do you know about Phoenix?
Harry Potter. Yeah.
Order of the Phoenix. Order of the Phoenix.
Rose from the ashes.
Yeah. It's a mythical bird. Described, it's from Eastern lore, probably Mesopotamian, certainly Egyptian as well. But Herodotus, the ancient Greek historian, in his histories, discusses the phoenix bird. The phoenix, according to ancient mythical legend, partly recapitulated by Herodotus himself in the histories, is a mythical bird that dies in flames every 500 years, lives for 500 years, then dies, and recreates itself from its own ashes. Well, that's my fraternity also. That's me personally. It's so many of my friends. It's some friends in a place named Phoenix right now also, which I'm not going to identify more specifically, but you know who I'm talking about because you are Phoenixes too. You are a Phoenix Rising, bro. This gentleman was a waiter at the wedding of one of our brothers. He's a great friend to this day. Yeah, Phoenix has a great deal of symbolic meaning.
Are you the smartest person you know?
Define smart. You know, I'm an idiot savant.
Intellectual?
I've been told I'm the smartest person they've ever met. All too many people. But let me tell you something. I'm dumb as a brick with some things. I've picked bad friends. I've let bad friends pick me. Intellectually, I'm way up there, yes. But I need to work on a lot more, and I shouldn't be working these shit jobs. Thanks for asking.
If you became president.
Yeah. When I become president?
Yes, when you become president.
Sorry.
Yeah, so what would you
Think
run
positive,
on?
guys.
What would be your stances?
I'm a raging moderate.
Right.
I try to keep people as well as make them happy. It's difficult to do. Long before he was discredited, and rightly so, Bill Cosby once famously said, probably more than once famously said, I know of no sure formula for success. I do know of one sure formula for failure. Try to please everybody. It's really what I did try to do as student president, and I paid the price for it. I hate taxes. I love education. I love people, good people. I love America, the United States of America. I especially love the United States Marine Corps and all members thereof, almost all members. Even they have a few rotten apples in the barrel, but not too many. But I'm a huge fan of the United States Marines. I love Marines. They're loyal, they're fanatical, they're ferociously protective, and they don't understand what the fuck is going on in America any more than I do, or why.
What's your favorite topic?
Gosh, my favorite topic?
Yes.
In no particular order, possibly. Classical civil, sorry?
Start top 5. Go from 5
Okay.
down to 1. Your top 5 topics.
Politics, that'd be the classical civilization, the classics, the Greek and Latin languages, archaeology, Greek and Roman archaeology, ancient history, ancient law, ancient literature, foreign languages in general, cryptology, cryptological operations,
What's
military,
cryptology?
secret codes, code breaking.
Oh.
Oh, here's a good story. You'll love this one. I was falsely accused of writing fuck, okay, in second grade. Now I didn't even know how to spell fuck. I was not the firstborn. There was a child born before me. My favorite brother. He died before me. All right, before I was born. His name was David.
That interlude was.
Yeah. But no, this is a true story. Also, it's true.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to interrupt.
Don't interrupt anytime you like. Listen, I'm one of these people. I don't like when people talk while I'm interrupting. You know, like that's not original. I heard or read that somewhere.
That was good, though.
It's a good one.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said that about my hostile Jewish mother. I said she doesn't like when people talk. She doesn't like when people talk while she's interrupting. So anyway, I was falsely, because I didn't even know how to spell the word fuck until first grade, at least first grade, because I saw it in first grade. I was in Miss Kirsch's class, and somewhere in the halls I saw F-U-C. Now my guess is now, we could, you gotta think like a detective when you're an archaeologist, when you study archaeology. My guess is the kid got interrupted in spelling the word fuck, so he only got to the C. All right. So I came home and I asked my mother, "Mommy, what's fuck? It's a bad word." So I started looking up all the bad words in the dictionary just to offend her. I misspelled penis. She always had a real problem with that. Not too much of a problem to birth 4 kids, but I thought it was spelled P-E-A-N-U-S because she refused to. I'm not going to tell you how to spell it. So I looked under the dictionary, but I couldn't get the right spelling because I'm looking under P-E-A. You know?
Do you know how to spell penis now?
Now I do P-E-N-U-S. I can spell it in several languages. Yeah. Peos in Greek.
I would like to know every language that you can spell and say penis in.
Gosh. Does that include like the slang like cock, purple midget?
No, in other languages.
Purple midget's helmet, purple fireman's helmet. Purple midget,
No, you want to keep going in English.
Dick, wang, Now, even this is not original. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to plagiarize. Even this is taken from 1988's Dan Aykroyd's film, The Couch Trip. It's a great movie, Couch Trip. And the effeminate manager comes up to him and he says, Dan Aykroyd, he's an escaped mental patient, but he's perfectly normal. He's just a con man, a white-collar fraudster who convinced a liberal judge, according to the psychiatrist, that he was mentally insane. So he gave him to the criminally insane for a while there. Sneaks out, impersonates a famous Beverly Hills psychiatrist who is nuts, but only neurotic, not psychotic, played by Charles Grodin, and he goes on the radio show while the guy's on vacation, for mental health issues himself, and he goes on the radio where he's taking over and he's saying all kinds of different things, and the switchboard's lighting up with complaints, So the effeminate manager, played by a great character actor, Michael Ensign, I believe it's pronounced, or Ensign, Michael Ensign, with a mustache, says, how did I do? He says, just teensy tiny tadpoles of concern. This is a family viewing hour, and so we like to keep things on an even keelish level. So what your references to penis and vagina? Your references to penis and vagina? He says, oh, would you rather I use alternate terms like dick, wang, midget fireman's helmet? Just keep it on an even keelish level because, okay, do you understand? Okay. So now he's talking to some woman, he says, she's asking about some sexual part. He says, you tell that son of a bitch to come here, I'll kick him in his fucking balls and I'll beat the shit out of that fuck. We're gonna go to commercial now. And Michael Ensign's character comes over to the station manager. He says, okay, I've made a list of the profanities he used. Okay, we're okay on balls, iffy on son of a bitch, and even asshole is potentially anatomically forgivable, but there's no getting around fuck. He says, all right, I'll write our apology to the FCC. How did we come up with this again?
I
The
don't
couch trip?
remember, but
How did we do the couch trip that I used all these? Oh yeah, the words, the bad words.
Yeah.
Okay. So in second grade, okay? In second grade, I was falsely accused, probably by the guy who did it. His His name was Jimmy. He was a freckled-faced kid with red hair and glasses, okay? And he falsely accused me of writing bad words. I remember it had an E in it. Because I'm not joking, I had a book in first or second grade. I still have this book on codes. I don't know how. It's one of the very few things I have from that early an age.
You were reading books on codes in second grade?
It was a kid's book, but yes.
Okay.
You know, one of those, the book club of the month that you can send in to bring in money and they'll send it away. Yeah, I did. Codes and Ciphers, I think it was called, or Secret Code Writing, something like that. I can show you the book. I think it's got a blue or purplish cover. Anyway, so I asked him to write whatever was written down on the note. It had to, and this is a metaphor for my personality. I was a little bit too abrupt. I still proved that it was him. And he made the E a little bit weird, just like it was in the original note that he falsely accused me of. I said, aha! You see how he did the E? I was in second grade, all right? So I wouldn't have ratted on him, but for the fact that he falsely ratted on me. But I was stupid in what I did. I was very impulsive. He says, well, you scared me. That's why I did it like this. I should have waited until he finished, said, aha. No, I get it. And the cocksucker still didn't get into trouble over it. I was the only one who almost got into trouble over this. Okay.
Now, is that a theme in your life, getting in trouble for things?
Always. Oh, I always get in trouble for what I do. Let alone with But I get in trouble for things that I don't do. I avoid trouble like the plague that it is to me. It follows me. It follows me.
Recently, what's the most trouble you've got into?
Friday, this is not the most recent, but Friday, August 18th, 2006, a woman hits me from behind. I'm late for work, coming back from Brooklyn where I'm working as a coin dealer to go out to sell used cars, okay, in Long Island, okay? And a woman hits me, it's a Friday. She hits me from behind, boom. And I do the right thing, I call the police, okay? To take an accident report, okay? Now I swear to you, I waited on a guy with the same name at the big box, the big box retailer that I work at, okay? His name is Paul Voltaggio. He swears he's not related to the cop. Officer Voltaggio, I remember how kind you were to me. Afterwards, that is. Badge number 70649. His badge number, I remember to this day, 70649. I'm an idiot savant with numbers, I told you this, okay? So this poor medical student who hits me from behind, I call the police, and after he takes down the report and everything, he says, Mr. Kaufman, could you please step out of the car? Now I know this is going to end in my arrest, and it does, okay? But I hadn't done anything wrong, at least to my knowledge. At least to my knowledge at the time. And the way I'm telling you the truth, if you believe any or all of these details, because I wouldn't have called the police if there was anything wrong with my license, right? Mr. Kaufman, please step out of the car. And sure enough, I'm in cuffs the next thing I know. He was gentle, he was polite, and I was a complete gentleman myself. So here I am, walking like this. This can't be a joke. You're not a fraternity brother, and you don't seem to know any of my fraternity brothers. It's not a joke. He says, no, it's not a joke. He says, go ahead. I never told him any of these stories. He knows that he knew that this was going to be worth it today. So here I am. So here I am in the back of the squad car, having no idea why there's a bench warrant for your arrest, sir. Are we still rolling?
Yeah.
Wait, there's a bench warrant for your arrest. And for the life of me, I honestly cannot. I'm thinking maybe someone made a false complaint, but I would have known about that. I've had people do that. Maybe I did something wrong that I don't remember, but I have a good memory. I'm not going to lie to a cop. I mean, it's not against the law. It's against the law to lie to the FBI during an investigation and an interview. It's not against the law to lie to a cop.
Really?
But under federal law. Yeah. But I'm not going to lie to a cop, and I can't fucking. Now it suddenly fucking occurs to me. By coincidence, the coin dealer that I'm working for has just gotten his license to practice law in Connecticut. However, he's passed the bar in New York, but he's still waiting to pass the bar he's still waiting to get his license approved to practice in New York. When I'm driving down from Albany, New York, over the Triborough Bridge to, drive down to his place in Brooklyn, or his mother's place where he's living now, in Windsor Terrace. I have an uninspected vehicle because the cars that I can afford generally don't pass inspection. What do you want to do? I can sell drugs and get a nice car, but I don't want to sell drugs. All right? I've buried too many students of Albany from drugs. Also, I get caught. in no
Have you ever
particular
done
order.
drugs?
Of course I've done drugs. I've tried it. I hated it always. I always hated it. My one drug of choice is alcohol. It's definitely a drug. Fame is my drug. Publicity is my drug. That and Irish whiskey and scotch. Yeah. But I hate drugs. I fucking hate
What?
drugs.
What drugs have you tried?
I've gone as high as ketamine, but let me explain. When they called it K,
I haven't even done ketamine, and I've really.
and you have nor have you likely
You beat
locked,
him, that's
nor
all.
have you likely ever, nor likely have you ever locked yourself inside a dog cage. All right, it works like that. I'll explain in a moment. I'll explain in a moment.
That counts.
When the brothers, okay, when they would kick me out of the house to do drugs, they would say, "Okay, Lindsay, would you leave?" They were having so much fun. I didn't want to leave this time, and they said K, and we in my idiot savant, mind, I'm thinking K is short for KO, and KO is the ticker tape symbol for Coca-Cola, and Coke, Coke. It's something that's Coke. Which I've never tried and I'm not gonna. Right? So I figure it's Coke. I'll try it if they're doing it. And all I knew is I locked myself in the dog cage. There was a pit bull we had in the house, and this is a beautiful dog. She died at age 6. Okay, I don't want to speak ill of the dead. I really don't speak ill of the dead, dog or not.
Why'd she die? Why'd you lock yourself in the cage?
Why did she die, or why did I lock
No,
myself
why
in the
did
cage?
you lock yourself in the cage?
I guess subconsciously I wanted to be a dog. All right, I'm guessing that's what I can't fathom why I would otherwise do it.
Do you
It was a
think
thing to do
ketamine
maybe
had
for attention.
anything to do with it?
I can say this: it was what you would term in legal nomenclature the proximate cause. But for the ketamine, I would not have locked myself in the
Okay,
dog cage.
gotcha.
Although during pledging, they did lock me in a different pit bull's cage. Yeah, that was in Gucci's cage. They locked me. This was Cristal, named after champagne. So, and Cristal was a beautiful dog. She was a good girl. I don't mean to speak ill of the dead, especially a dog. Okay, but what is the filthiest thing in any house? What is the filthiest thing in any house?
Your door handles.
Nope.
My toothbrush.
Nope. Worse.
The toilet brush.
Your fingers.
Very good. I expect you to say the toilet, but you got that right. My kudos to you, sir.
Thank you.
Not the toilet, but rather the brush that you clean the fucking toilet. And she took to that. She, like a dog finds a bone. She would carry it happily around in her mouth, trotting and prancing around the house with a toilet brush in her fucking jaws. This is a pit bull. Yeah. So So I don't. Well, anyway, let me tell you this. Okay. Now. One of the individuals in this house, who by the way was a coke dealer, okay, was so mad, which I didn't know at the time, was so mad at me that he wouldn't talk to me for 3 full days straight, except to say to me, "Fuck you, Larry," or the next time, "I hate you, Larry," or "Fuck you, Larry, I hate you," for 3 days. I went to the corner store and bought from Mr. Singh a very nice card, an apology card. "Dear so-and-so, I don't know what I did wrong, but I promise I'll never do it again." And I placed it under his pillow. He claimed he never got it, but I don't believe that. Maybe someone took it from him. They're just as likely as not to have done that. And he explains to me, "Larry, you don't do drugs. You're not an addict." I said, "I know, I just didn't want to be kicked out of the house this time. Or kicked out of the room this time." He says, "I'm a drug dealer." I said, "Coke, but I don't do coke. You don't do drugs. That's not you." I said, "Fine, I won't do it again. I'm sorry." And then he stopped hating me. But he got in trouble with the law. And listen, if his crimes aren't unforgivable, which they're not, I'm sure they're at least pardonable.
So how many times did you lock yourself into a cage?
Just once. Once is not enough.
That's enough.
You gotta step up the ante after that. And during pledging, they locked me in Gucci's cage. Gucci was another pit bull, beautiful dog. That was Johnny the K's dog, I believe. Yeah.
Has there ever been a Mrs. Larry Kaufman?
No, I haven't made that mistake.
Any girlfriends or anything?
Girlfriends, yes, not for very, very great length of time, but look, you're gonna hate me for saying this, guys. Those of you who are married, or especially if you don't want to be,
I'm not.
Yeah. No, if there's one thing the world, I read this in a book on Greek mythology. If there's one thing the world hates, it's a bachelor. The only thing they hate more than a bachelor is a happy bachelor. Okay, marriage is a bad deal. especially for the guy. As soon as love disappears, you're stuck with a very bad business contract on your hands, right or wrong. All right? I got friends who were past their second divorce already, okay? I had one landlord, not this one, but I had one landlord who was 40 years old and already on a second divorce, you know? But yeah, what do you need a marriage contract for? What does the guy get out of it? Agita, at best. Yeah. No, I don't believe in modern love. I don't believe in marriage.
How many girlfriends have you had?
Steady, serious girlfriends, not enough to comfortably reveal. I'm not big on relationships. They never last very long.
Okay.
Have you ever been
But I don't
on
like
Tinder or?
I don't. Why would you go searching? Why would you go searching in a meat market where you're competing with everybody else? I don't understand. If you want a job, the worst place to go is a fucking job fair. Well, there's a job fair here. Okay, I was in a homeless shelter once. Okay, and the fucking idiot comes banging on the door. The director. Let's go. There's a job fair. Let's go. There's a job fair. Okay. First of all, it was raining. Okay, but I got a free ride into Brooklyn. I don't care. Okay. So the kid was right, and it's raining because I was homeless.
Okay.
Yeah, you should only know how recently this was. This is literally early 2018.
Wow.
Early 2018. I met you guys in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was an interesting adventure.
So did you hate this job fair that you went to?
I didn't go to the job fair. I just used it to get a ride to Brooklyn. But not only that, but I'm not exaggerating. There's a line almost a mile fucking long outside the job fair, which is closed at the time, by the way, okay? And it's raining, and these assholes are standing in the rain, most without umbrellas, to get jobs. There are more people than fucking jobs. You don't go on Tinder. In my opinion, you shouldn't go on Tinder if you're serious about getting a girl. But why are you competing with all these other guys? You go to a library. This is where I can pick up girls. I'm serious. I'm good at museums and bookstores. Okay. You go to museums and bookstores where the shy girls go, where the other guys can't compete, where the only other guys who go to bookstores are shyer than you. You know.
It's probably the
It's true.
best idea.
Try it. It works. It works like a charm.
Wow.
I used to, back in the 80s, I used to give out my business card. I used to give out my business card to women. And one of them actually called me back. She was the hostess at a restaurant. But you give out your cards and stuff like that. You know, it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. You go to where the market is, but not where the other people do it. The best place to search for buried treasure is probably at the beach where people are dropping it, but nobody else is looking for it. You'll have the occasional metal detector guy going, but most people are not doing that. You know, they're going to get a tan.
I've always wanted to go with the metal detector.
Yeah.
I really have.
But I do expect to do much better with the ladies after these video series are posted. You know?
Some of them do.
Yeah, right. But I'd like to do that.
You pick your friends, you pick your girlfriends, don't let them pick you. Make your own mistakes. And the worst thing that anybody can do, and I've learned this the hard way from blind dates, the worst thing you can fucking do is let someone else set you up. This one obnoxious old Jewish woman comes into a gold buying place. It's a retail jewelry store, but really it was more of a gold buying place. This between 2009 and 2011. Trying to peddle not only her dreck, her garbage, but her granddaughter to me. Now, okay? Now I'm making her a fair market offer for the good stuff. I don't want the garbage, you know. This stuff. And I even keep the store open an hour later for her, okay? And I said, just call me. And she's shopping it around. I don't want to be shopped. I worked for Mr. Pollock in the jewelry store, and he goes, I don't want to be shopped. You want to go to your stuff, you come to me last. And I should have listened to him, because the fucking cunt doesn't even give me a chance to compete for her dreck, okay? I make her a fair market offer. I said, if somebody offers you more, let me make you another offer. I keep the place open, and I'm getting paid by the hour, but I'm not getting paid for this hour, okay? And I don't get a commission, all right? So she never comes back, she never calls back. Then she comes back another time, weeks, months later, I don't remember. I said, you never came back. She goes, yeah, I sold it to the other guy. I said, you didn't give me a chance. I asked you for a chance to meet or beat their offer. She says, well, business is business, right? Meanwhile, she asked me, do you have a girlfriend? The first time. And she's trying to peddle me. She's trying to peddle her granddaughter, which if she needs peddle. Now, the woman looks like a tuchus with lipstick herself, okay? Even that's not original. That's from Billy Crystal. You remember that from Memories of Me? He says, I think his memories of me. He says, ma'am, you look like a tuchus with lipstick. She's peddling, so she brings her crap to me that she didn't want to sell me, the other guy didn't want. Just like she tries to bring her granddaughter to me, whom I don't want. Okay? This is what you got to do. You got to watch out for the women. Guys, they are, well, I've already used the word recently, but I always get in trouble every time I do. They're not in it for your best interest. Most people aren't. But I am right now, and I'm telling you, watch out for the women.
So you've never met a girl who's after your best interest, not once?
It doesn't last very long. Well, no, everybody's after their own best interest, I can understand, but the way I try and structure any deal is so I'm looking out for you and you're looking out for me.
Right.
You know, we mesh, you know, the interests, you know, I supply this need, they supply this need, but usually people are just plain selfish. Now, you're going to let someone that close to you as well, that's a bad thing, because the breakup is never amicable. Why do you think, and it's not the guy's fault usually that the breakup itself is not amicable. It may often be the guy's fault that it happens, you know, the wandering eye and stuff like that. But I got news for you. Divorce is very expensive, usually almost exclusively for the guy. So a guy doesn't want a divorce, and it's usually the woman who files anyway. Women make their money in 3 chief ways: marriage, divorce, and widowhood. Now, you guys may think you're going to reinvent the wheel. Oh, it won't happen to us, honey. It happens to everybody, honey. 60%. We're not talking 50-50 anymore. You don't have even odds anymore. It's 60%. All right? And if you're an asshole, it's even more. I'm sorry. What are you
What
saying?
if the guy has no money? Then he could get her money, right? Technically.
Good luck getting married. You know a lot of women who get a guy with no money. Only if she wants to do the pegging thing. All right?
Whoa, why'd you point to me for that?
Because you had mentioned that
No,
earlier,
wait
that
a
some guys, you know, the women want to go after somebody. Not you personally.
That was before the camera was on.
I didn't say that you said it. I just said.
Look at you pointing at me and talking about pegging.
But for the record, we agreed that he would never let a woman do it. You know, he would never let her do it though. But you know,
Never.
okay. Well, never say never, never say always. You know, never say never again. By the way, at that German course, there was a German dubbed version, Sag niemals nie, Never Say Never Again, the James Bond film. That was the unofficial, non-canonical James Bond. It was really just a modernized remake of Thunderball, 1983, Sean Connery.
What date did that come out?
1983. Almost simultaneously with Roger Moore's. Amazing, although it got bad reviews. Amazing, over the top villains, over the top acting, over the top sets, over the top plot. Octopussy. You remember they came out almost.
Remember that?
Yeah. You remember the crazy General Orlov, played by the British Jew. He's an English Jew named Stephen Burkhoff, who plays the best Hitler I've ever seen. You remember Hitler in War and Remembrance? Yeah. He played Hitler not in Winds of War. That was Gunther Meissner, but War and Remembrance. Yeah. He plays the crazy General Orlov who wants to blow up an American Air Force base with a smuggled atomic weapon. He says, you remember when they're doing with General Gaulle, he says, I have at my immediate disposal 10 divisions, along with another 10 from Czechoslovakia, leading to total victory in 10 days against any foreseeable NATO counterattack.
How many times have you seen this movie?
Many times, but I didn't. I was paraphrasing it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now,
We've gamed out a variety of scenarios with a new Kurzov computer, and we found that a lightning strike from Czechoslovakia, from East Germany, with another 10 divisions from Czechoslovakia, will lead to total Warsaw Pact victory in 10 days against any conceivable NATO scenario. And then General Gogol says, "This is madness. Everyone knows where this will lead. NATO will counterattack with nuclear weapons. Never! The West is decadent and divided. They have no stomach for our atomic reprisals. Have daily anti-nuclear attack for what is it? Daily protests against nuclear weapons. It's a great movie. Stephen Burkhoff does it better. Yeah.
so how many languages do you know?
Not fluently. I'll tell you what I've studied and what I've known on the internet. I have my reasons. I don't want people knowing everything yet. And I don't want them constructing a timeline either. I've studied Hebrew in Hebrew school, Spanish. I got the Spanish award for junior high. I've studied Spanish in high school and a tiny bit in college. I've studied Italian in high school, French in high school, French, German, and Italian in college, a tiny bit of Russian and Chinese in college.
Can you say anything in Chinese?
What do you want me to say?
Wonton soup.
Wonton soup.
Fang pi. I said that's bullshit. Literally means blow a fart. But if you want to say bullshit, say it to any Chinese speaker. This is Mandarin Chinese. Fang pi. You have to say it. Fang. There are tones. It's a tone language. It's a musical language. It's like it doesn't mean this, but the way you would say to somebody, "Fuck you," "fuck you," you accent it downward. Fang pi literally means blow a fart. It means bullshit. And the way I learned this was from the movie Nixon, which I watched for inspiration during my own impeachment crisis during the Christmas break of 1995.
Wait a minute, you got impeached?
For getting naked at a football tailgate party while giving a speech. I was telling you. Oh God, you want to hear that story?
Yeah, I want to hear that story.
Come on.
I got to piss like a racehorse right now, but I'm going to tell you the story first. Okay, I was student president, and I had been planning to drink and get drunk at the tailgate party. Okay, but I was shaking, so I came late around 4 p.m. I came late, and I was shaking hands. It was a misty, rainy, miserable day. I was a little bit depressed, you know, and I was looking forward to going, but I was a procrastinator also, so I stayed in bed a little bit too long. Well, anyway, finally I go around shaking hands, and by the time I finished shaking hands, we're talking about probably 1,500 hands I've shaken, 700-800 at any given time in the that's the RAC, that's the RACC, that's the Recreation Communication Center, the new gym parking lot, that by the time I finish shaking hands, they're out of chicken, out of hot dogs, out of hamburgers. There's no more fucking food. And I didn't, and only for rugby's sake and my budget's sake, because I was broke almost all the time, and other people were buying my drinks all the time. There was no liquor available. For all these reasons, I didn't want to drink beer, let alone an empty stomach. So I'm stone cold sober. Sober as a judge, a Republican judge, although I'm a Democrat. Registered Democrat, but I'm a patriot. I'm disgusted with the current Democratic Party. Okay? So anyway.
Preach, brother.
Oh no, I can't preach too much now. We're going to need Democratic votes when we run.
All right, so I want to hear how you got it.
Okay. So I'm shaking hands and stuff. And now the team is about to take to the field. It's now 6 p.m., okay? The team is now taking to the field, and nobody's watching them because they're not in the stands and the bleachers. They're in the new gym parking lot, the RAC parking lot, you know, still finishing up the tailgate party. So my first programming director says, Landslide, tell them to break up the party. I said, they're not going to listen to me. He says, they'll listen to you. They'll listen to you. Stand on that truck. And I don't tell them that I'm not comfortable with heights, okay? So he says, stand on the truck there, and then just give them a speech. Tell them to go watch the football team taking the field. So I'm not going to lose face. So I climb up on top of the truck. Now, don't believe the press reports from the Albany student press. I call it the Albany stupid press. It was not, I'm serious now. It was not a U-Haul truck. It was a Ryder truck. The press reported it as a U-Haul truck. It was a Ryder truck. It was a yellow Ryder truck, probably the Sigma Pi truck because they were closest by it, okay? So anyway, I climb on top of the truck. And I give a modified version of the speech out of Rudy. Come on, guys. Right now, we're 1-4. If God forbid we lose this, we'll be 1-5. Come on, we got to get up there and fight. And someone, I think it was Sigma Pi because it came from nearby, and I think it was the Sigma Pi truck for the reason I described. Larry, take it off. I say, yeah. You know, they're drunk, I'm sober. So you say, Larry, take it off. Larry, take it off. And the whole crowd starts cheering. Larry, take it off. Larry, take it off. Larry, take it off. Larry, take it off. So as a joke, I take off my sweatshirt, okay? I'm wearing a sweatshirt and jeans. And I take off my sweatshirt, I twirl around, and I throw it into the crowd, okay? And I don't think I'm wearing a shirt underneath. I think I'm wearing just a t-shirt underneath it, as I recall this. So we'll take this shirt off just to be more accurate, okay? And I say, okay, guys. So you say, Larry, take it off. So I'm not much to look at naked, as you're probably going to mostly see. So as a joke, I really do as a joke, I take off my undershirt, twirl it around.
Okay.
And I say, but I put it down on the thing. And they say, so I figured saying, oh, I really thought they were saying, because I remember what went through my mind. I really thought they were going to say, all right, put it back on. But they didn't. They don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with the rest. So I take off my jeans.
No.
I'm not going all the way. I'm not going all the way. So I take off my jeans. I'm taking, what's that?
No.
I'll stop here if you want.
No, put your pants back on.
Like I mean, now by now, you'll notice. I have to tell you why I'm wearing boxer briefs now. I'm going to put it back on. Don't worry. But I was wearing tighty whities at the time. Okay. Big mistake. Bigger than taking off the pants. Bigger than getting naked was wearing tighty whities when I did it. Okay? I don't wear tighty whities to this day. Okay. I don't. I can make fun of it. Okay. And the reason why I'm grateful that you stopped me, because I wouldn't have stopped otherwise, in all honesty, I would have gone all the way. Until you stopped me. You know about the Jewish curse? They call it the Irish curse also, all right? I'm not exaggerating. 6 years later, I had cunts coming up to me in bars saying, I saw your penis. Okay? 6 years later, I had a girl say that to me, okay? With a guy who I thought was my friend. You know, he probably put her up to it. All right? So anyway, you can't hear my voice in the video now that was taken, and they showed it at the impeachment trial, okay? You can't hear my voice shouting over the crowd because they're cheering, going crazy. I have to use gesture. I say, no more! Not the socks! And I'm going to stop. But as I take my underwear down, as it goes over the curvature of my ass, for a fraction of a second, only a fraction of a second, there's not a gasp, but a tiny sliver of silence. I'm going to put it back on. A tiny sliver of silence. Sorry to let you down. It's anticlimactic. No pun intended. And I twirl so I know we're not the socks. And then I take my underwear off, and they go crazy cheering. And I twirl around my head. Thank you, God bless you, and long live Albany! Now, that video was taken by a member of the volunteer ambulance squad, of which I was a member as a dispatcher. But he's a doctor to this day, this cocksucker, okay? He's a Jew. Okay? And in his capacity as vice chairman of the Internal Affairs Committee, he had access to his own video. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was taken by, hang on a second. It was taken by a bartender at WT's. But he was a member of the Volunteer Ambulance Corps, where he was friends with the vice chairman of the Internal Affairs Committee, who was also the director of operations of the Volunteer Ambulance Corps. You happy I didn't get totally naked? You should be.
Thank God.
Yes.
You should thank me. So anyway, what did he do? We can monetize this fucking thing. I'll go all the way. I don't give a shit.
No,
We're good.
I know what the cover of the book's going to be, though.
Well, let me tell you something. The cover of the book Bad Boy, about Lee Atwater, the guy who made it cool to be a Republican, he's showing with his shorts down around his ankles there, wearing his underwear. It's called Bad Boy. I read the book. It's from, when did I read it? I must have read it in 99 or 2000, something like that. I don't know. Bad Boy. Lee Atwater was the guy who got George H.W. Bush elected. Yeah. So anyway, why am I telling you all this? Oh yeah, so they showed the video in court. Everybody clapped and cheered. I asked them to show it again. They refused. The Supreme Court justices of the student government. And what I should have done is made a motion. I didn't think of it at the time, or I would have. Motion to dismiss, Your Honors. Lack of evidence. It was a cold day. I was standing 10 feet off the ground in a drizzle. Worse than the usual shrinkage. And I'm worse than the usual Jew. And there's your Jewish curse. Now, let's go.
This video?
Now, I've had a record of doing such things like this. A girl, I have her name, I have her photo. In my first grade class, asked to see and I showed it to her, and then she immediately tattled on me. And I was sent to the principal. Little things can traumatize a kid.
What grade was this?
First grade, Miss Kirshner's class, first grade. She asked to see and I showed it to her, you know. And then she immediately ratted me out, the little fucking cunt, okay? And without saying the name, The person who we mentioned before, it's the exact same first name. And it rhymes with hell. Not inappropriately so.
So that name has not been good to you.
No.
Apparently not. So anyway, and I get sent down to Mr. Hochberg's office. And he's got a deep voice. And it's room 102, which, by the way, is also the mayor's office in Albany, okay? 102. And I'm doing something, and I'm an idiot savant, and I know I did something wrong, and I don't know what I did wrong. I did what she asked, you know. And while I'm waiting to be spoken to by the principal, I'm saying, in my idiot savant mind, I'm 102, 102, 102, 102. And Mr. Hochberg comes out of his office, he says to me, "You were sent down here because you exposed yourself." I did. What? Do you know what exposed yourself is? To expose yourself is? No. It's when you open up the zipper and take out the penis. It's like, oh my God, that must be a terrible thing. So now I won't even change with the guys in first grade, between first grade and second grade camp, day camp. So you're not allowed to show you. Little things can traumatize a kid, you know? I can tell you, let's talk about toilet training. Nobody ever told me how to use a fucking fly. So in first grade, when they take us the first day to the bathroom all together, and I just literally drop all my pants, and I don't hold it against the kid. He was a good guy. I don't know if his name was Tamiko or whatever. It was Flushing, Queens. It was a Japanese name, nice kid, but he burst out laughing at me. And I didn't know what I'd done wrong. Because nobody ever told me how to use a fucking fly. Little things like that traumatize a kid. Yeah. I'm getting all this out on tape because they're going to dig all this shit up on me anyway. I'll research. And let me tell you something. Richard Nixon, nobody is happier than Richard Nixon regarding the advent of Donald Trump. May he live so long, this president of mine. This president of mine.
Oh my God.
But Donald Trump is going to be the happiest man when I get elected.
Why is that?
Because I'm going to do for him, I'm going to do far more than that for him, but I'm going to do at least for him what he did for the memory of Richard Nixon by getting elected.
Yeah.
Nobody talks bad about poor Richard Nixon anymore. Yeah. Our country is falling apart. And we need a phoenix to rise and save it.
Will you be that phoenix?
That's more up to you than it is up to me, but you're already doing more than your part. The problem is you have to do the part of people that don't do their part. Yes, that will be me. If I live long enough, I think I will. Of course, lots of people thought they would.
What, are you predicting your death like Nostradamus?
I'm hoping to get assassinated. But and Nostradamus has a lot of ambiguous things that can be twisted any way you like the Delphic Oracle. Let's go back to Herodotus, the Greek historian, and his histories. It's called The Histories by Herodotus.
Okay.
Croesus, or Croesus, the king of Lydia, was it Phrygia or Lydia, goes against, he wants to decide whether to go against the Persian Empire. And he consults the Delphic Oracle. She says, if you attack the Persians, you will destroy a great empire. Or a great kingdom. He says, I'm doing it. Next thing you know, he winds up defeated, captured, and on the pyre, the funeral pyre, alive. He's going to be burned to death by Cyrus the Great. And what do you call it? Because the Delphic Oracle made it so it could be either way. You know, you can interpret it either way. That way they're always right. Just like you give credit for God to everything. Everybody gives God credit for everything. Your grandmother, God forbid, gets cancer. Oh, it's God's will. It's so terrible. Pray to God. She gets better or has a remission. Oh, it's God. Oh, God. Or she dies. Oh, it was God's will. How is it that God wins either way? What kind of bullshit is this? And you're happy either way? Come on. This is bullshit. It's not funny. It's not a laughing matter. This is just bullshit. God, I wish I had
The
Scotch.
truth of all predictions is always in your own hands.
Do you know that story about the bird?
No, it's
Okay.
not a maiden song, but anyway.
It's in your own hands. In your own hands. As the Turkish say, ellerinde, in your hands. Ellerinde, that's Turkish. El means hand. Eller means in. Eller means hands. Ellerin means in the hands, and ellerinde means in your hands. In your hands. The story was told by Alexandra Blaine, the student president immediately before me. And she told a story about the rabbi, about a rabbi who, a little girl goes up to him and she says, I have a little bird in between my hands. I ask you a question, you're a wise man. Is it alive or is it dead? But I'm telling you, if you say it's dead, if you say it's alive, I'll crush it. And if you say it's dead, I'll let it go free and it'll fly away. So I ask you, is it alive or is it dead? The rabbi says, the answer is in your hands. Elrinde.
I got a question for you.
Talk to me, brother.
I know you're really good with exits. Can you name me every exit on Long Island and upstate New York?
Probably not, but if you can ask me a few of them,
All right, we'll do what we
randomly
can.
check me. By the way, I want to say something. You may not want me to identify you by name. You'll let me know. Three of the greatest guys that I've met in my life are behind the camera here. That's usually the way it works, you know? That's usually the way it works.
We appreciate it.
These are great guys and worthy of a story of themselves. You got the coolest fucking Jew I've ever met. So cool that I couldn't tell you were a Jew. I was shocked when I found out you were a Jew. Comes in a leather jacket.
Most people think I'm Italian.
You could easily pass for Italian, easily. And they blast rock and roll music during Christmas season last year until corporate changed it so they have the music act, you know. And not even good Christmas music, unfortunately. I love Christmas music, but this wasn't even a good soundtrack. It was a little bit too modern and newfangled. But I'll never forget. And I heard you play the air guitar, which I've never seen him do. But the greatest songs I was thinking is, "Will you remember me on the street of dreams?"
What about Rainbow?
Rainbow, yeah, Rainbow is the song. We got a fraternity brother that reminds me of a story that I'm not going to reveal here because we're going to do a prank to him. Yeah, no, I almost do that. Yeah, and this is a phenomenal guy right here who works in the shipping room. This is the assistant store manager of one of my jobs. This gentleman works in the shipping room. Amazing dude. We don't want to lose him. And this gentleman who I've just met today, but I already knew he was amazing walking in the door. When I say, "Hi, Jelly Bean." For some reason, this is a great inside joke. Was it from Blacklist?
Yes.
Yeah. I think your code name is Blacklist. Blacklist. And me, I should be blacklisted.
Yeah.
This is great. You talk about a triumvirate here.
So while we do this, I know you had once at work, but I wasn't there, so we'd like you to list the exits upstate for us.
Oh yeah, ask me a few of them. If I remember correctly, 16 I think would be Harrison, 17 Newburgh, 18 New. 17 Newburgh, 18 New Paltz, 19 Kingston, 20, not Selkirk. God damn it. Exit 20 Saugerties. 21. I wish I could remember. Not Selkirk. 22 I think is Selkirk. 23 South Albany. 24 Albany. Well, after that, you're not going north. Now you're going west. After that, but in Long Island, out here, let's see. Let's go backwards. You got. Let's see. I got off at 64 is Route 112. 63 Horse Block Road. 62 Nichols Road. 61 where I got off here would be don't tell me, Patchogue Holbrook Road. 60 I don't remember in all honesty. 59, 58. I'm not nearly as good as I should be at now.
So then the question is, which exit are all the bodies at?
Where all the bodies
I'll tell you
are.
where this is what a police officer told me, okay? That if you wanted to bury a body, the best, I've got some crazy cop friends, okay? Okay? And you at PD know who I'm talking about. That if you want to bury a body, the Adirondack Park would be the best way. Adirondack.
Why is that?
Because it's such all that wooded land, and
How
few
far
people.
in do you think you should go?
Regarding how far in can you go? This is a philosophical as well as a logic question. How far in can you go?
Right to the middle.
Very good. How did you know this, you sick fucking Jew? That's great.
I'm not a Jew.
You're not even a Jew?
I'm not even.
You got a Jew name, all right? You got a Jew name, you got a Jew face, you got a Jew sense of humor. In Long Island, that could be an Italian also. It probably is, right? A German Italian, right?
Yes.
With a smattering of Irish, perhaps? I'm good. I'm good at what I do. They did not tell me this. I'm good at what I do, okay? I'm good at what I do. Okay, that is great. Okay.
Holy shit.
What was the last question you said?
I'm still stuck on. You got a Jew face. I'm still there mentally.
Sorry. I'm good at what I do. I'm good at what I do. Okay? President Trump would make a great Jew. He looks so much like Mr. Pollock. That's unbelievable. The toughest fucking Jew you'll ever meet. But President Trump would have been great. He's been greater for the Jewish people than anybody since Cyrus of Persia. And quite frankly, he's been better than Cyrus of Persia, who was an autocrat who could do whatever he wanted. And my president got in trouble for doing so much for what he did for people who turned on him. 75% of Jews voted for Biden. Bad enough. They almost all voted for Obama. Bad enough. I voted for President Obama in 2008. Bad enough. But they attacked him mercilessly throughout his presidency, and all he did was take care of Jews practically. This is my people, this is my president. President Trump, if you can hang on, I promise you I'm going to make you proud of at least one fucking Jew. And we are, and I'm not going to go into too much detail here, we are the creation of the same Jew, my president and I. And I'll identify him at a future time. Wait until the unauthorized biography comes out. We were created by the same Jew. Seriously. If you want to do your research, find out which Jew created Donald Trump. Okay? Same Jew who created me.
So interesting enough, you're Jewish that speaks German.
Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen.
What a language can you speak that
Ich
well?
bin ein sehr fremder Jude. Ich bin ein sehr fremder Jude. I'm a very strange Jew. What were we saying?
Oh.
It took me 3 times to get it. What do you want? Was supposed to from my Leben. What do you want from my life? Oh yeah, you asked me what other languages I speak, and I didn't answer the question directly. I'm sorry, I should have. I meant to, or more directly than I did actually. I'm considered on the high intermediate level in the following languages, modern in no particular order: modern Greek, modern Hebrew, Spanish, and German. I'm on the low intermediate level, according to the Internet Placement Exam again, in French and Italian. I've studied ancient Greek, biblical Hebrew, ancient Latin. And I already told you a tiny bit of Russian and Chinese.
What's the hardest?
To what? To write? Chinese. Grammatically, it's the easiest. To speak, Chinese is very difficult. Russian is difficult grammatically, writing and reading as well, because it's a different alphabet. A lot of inflections known as cases. I could teach languages till the cows come home. Let me explain something about cases, conjugations, declensions, inflections, okay? An inflected language is a language that has a lot of changes. Inflections mean, I think, it's a general category to encompass all kinds of changes. Let's talk about different types of inflections. Nouns, for some languages, come in different declensions. Not so much feminine and masculine, or even masculine, feminine, neuter nouns, but they get declined. They change the endings according to the part of speech, according to their function. So if you wanted to say, for example, for a Latin noun, let's say nauta, which is a masculine noun but with a feminine ending to refer to a sailor. Nauta, a sailor, or the sailor. Nautai, with an AI instead of an A on the ending, could be of the sailor, that's genitive, singular, of the sailor. Nautai, AE also could be to the sailor. It could also mean, that's dative, of, to, or with reference to the sailor. It could also be nautai, singular, spelled and pronounced exactly the same way, ablative, meaning by means of the sailor, or through the sailor, or with regard to the sailor, or around the sailor. It could also be nautai, plural, singular, the nominative plural, sailors. Have I used it?
In practice. Like met somebody that spoke Chinese.
Not too many people speak Latin, but a classicist is impressed if you know this. My classes, my language professor for Latin, a dear woman, a little bit to the left of Trotsky, but I love her to death, I don't care. She's an English Catholic and proud of it, and not a lapsed Catholic either. Her name is Professor Sylvia Barnard. She just turned 84 the other day. I adore this woman. I remember the first time I took her in fall of '87. She is off the wall, off the charts, madcap funny, great classicist, a wonderful person. She's the single greatest friend that the students of Albany have ever had. She was the best kept secret on campus. And she put up with a lot of shit in her department, and as a woman professor in general, I gotta tell you.
Music. What's
Love
your favorite music?
Oh, David Bowie by far, the charisma. He created rock theater, I want to create political theater. David Bowie's the greatest. I love the Rolling Stones, Talking Heads, Dire Straits, Live, but Bowie is the ultimate. Bowie prior to 1989, Bowie until Tin Machine. He had some good stuff after that, but I always liked Ziggy Stardust through, and a little bit before that.
Was Ziggy Stardust.
Ziggy Stardust, amazing. You know, the Thin White Duke. What else? Sound and Vision, really Serious Moonlight, and really everything up to and including 1987, which got terrible reviews. The Glass Spider tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about Kiss?
I like you. You know, on film I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, if you wanted me to kiss you, I guess I'd kiss you if you wanted.
No, the band Kiss.
I'm just joking. I know what you meant. I grew up on the Kiss, Hotter Than Hell. We're doing an 8-track tape era here, 1975, 76.
That was my first
I like Kiss. I
track.
love Detroit Rock City, Hotter Than Hell. I never followed them. I thought they were a little hardcore for me back then, and I was more into classic rock. But yeah, I love Kiss. I love the costumes. I love the makeup. I like them better when they were over the top, you know. And Detroit Rock City was a great movie. The crazy repressed mother. But my favorite part of the movie was when they started playing it with Robin Leach. These larger than life rock legends, you know. When they showed the montage of the '70s, remember the $6 Million Man and everything.
Oh.
I lived for that scene. I played it over and over. It was great. Yeah, Kiss, I love them. They're great. I love the rock bands of the '80s, the heavy metal bands, and when they do ballads, it's beautiful. Which you've always proved, you know, with your music. Cinderella, don't know what you got till it's gone. But the Rock of Ages, I live for this movie. I would have loved the play even better, I think. But the Rock of Ages movie was great, and I love '80s music.
Jack Black?
No, that's School of Rock, which I haven't seen yet, by the way. Now I gotta see it. School of Rock. This is Rock of Ages.
Wait, oh, it was a play. That's right. That's where.
Yeah, Rock of Ages was a play,
Oh, okay.
and
okay.
it was a
And
great
School of
movie.
Rock later
I saw it, I
on
think, in
became
2012, if
Gotcha.
memory serves. Yeah.
So what was the wildest concert you ever went to?
I've never been to too many wild concerts. If you don't count the Kids from Fame, and I snuck back into the dressing room by bribing a guard with a $50 bill, so I guess that was wild. and my hostile, repressive Jewish mother says, "You get in the car right now. We couldn't find you. We were worried about it." The truth is, I wanted to touch fame. I wanted to touch fame. So I snuck back into the dressing room backstage.
Did you get to touch the Fame?
I did get to shake the hand of one of the kids from Fame. I lied by saying I was his cousin, and he says, don't lie. Go. He was very nice to me, nice guy. Don't lie. He said hi to talk to me, and then gave me a patch on the tongue and sent me on my way. And I dropped my ticket. He says, "Here, don't forget your $50 ticket." A very good guy, and I hope to meet the actor one day. He was an inspiration. That was I first touched Fame. Yeah, I did get to touch Fame, and I did start skyrocketing soon thereafterwards myself. The concert was almost certainly 1984, maybe 83. It couldn't have been any later than 84. And as I was coming of age also, and becoming the famous guy in my youth group, and then in college afterwards, yeah, I was pretty well known. But until my second iteration in college, when I came back in 94, 95 school year, and I took the school by storm, yeah, I'm a superstitious guy when it comes to fame. I learned from kings and princes and presidents and stars. Yeah.
Have
And
you
let
been
me,
back to school lately? Like, back to Albany? Check it out.
I go back on reconnaissance missions for my fraternity occasionally, but it's all changed, and all the fraternities are underground now. All the traditional fraternities, that is. They discriminate horrifically against them up at Albany and all the SUNY schools and most of the universities. Worse still, the fraternities allowed them to do this. Far worse still, when you go up there, I'm not exaggerating, on one of my reconnaissance visits, I mean, granted, an older guy going up there alone, and it didn't help there was a police car parked just down the street. I tell them I'm coming back to try and save Greek life at Albany, try and help them, and I'm friends with your fraternity from back in the day. You can check me, call the alumni, and I'm being felt up for a wire. I'm not joking. I'm not fucking kidding.
They didn't give you a cavity check, did you?
No cavity check.
The gerbil is intact.
They didn't even do that during pledging, thank God. But they did, and I didn't take an oath on this, so I'm allowed to reveal this. When they tell you to put hot sauce on your balls during pledging, they're not going to check. They're not going to check, so don't do it because it does hurt. You know, that stuff is apparently absorbed through the skin. Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, it gives new meaning to the term calienta huevos for those of you who know Spanish. Oh my God.
Lawrence.
Crazy.
So.
I would have gotten naked for them on camera. I really would have done it too.
No, please.
We could have blacked it out.
Yeah.
Listen.
What other pledges have you done? Like you were up there for 10 years, so you must have pledged a lot, right?
Well, no, I pledged my own social fraternity, which I'm not identifying on here to protect them, and to protect us, I guess. I pledged 2 pre-professional fraternity. Well, wait a minute, hang a second. No, I pledged. Well, I didn't pledge for Monday, December 14th, 1987. I was inducted into Phi Beta Kappa, which was the first Greek letter organization founded at the College of William and Mary, which institution itself was founded in 1693. I was founded Monday, December 14th, 1987. I was inducted into it by the secretary of the chapter, Ward of Cadbury, and Ward of Cadbury, sorry. And I was the 36th one to sign the book. I pledged. Oh, when I was campaigning for president, and I am promising fraternities kegs and stuff like that. And one of them kept the tap too. It was a $10. So they kept the $10 when we returned the tap. Well, that was my father's fraternity too. One fraternity, Phi Alpha Delta Law fraternity, and another fraternity, Pi Sigma Epsilon Sales and Marketing fraternity. I promised I would pledge them when I was president if they voted for me for president. They got all their brothers to vote for me for president, and you saw me when I was on that. When I was standing on top of the van getting naked, I had 2 pledge books with me. I had both pledge books with me. The yellow one for Phi Alpha Delta Law Fraternity International, and the green one for Pi Sigma Epsilon Sales and Marketing Fraternity. But I pledged them, and I became a brother of them. I also pledged Alpha Phi Omega. That was before I ran for president. Alpha Phi Omega in fall of '94. So that's a national co-ed service fraternity, which Bill Clinton was an honorary member of. So I'm a member of no fewer than 6 Greek letter organizations. Phi Alpha Delta Law Fraternity, which I was also president of. Oh, and I also co-founded and was the first president of Phi Delta Epsilon Pre-Med Fraternity.
Wow.
So that's 6, which I was president of.
Did you ever think about just going back to finish? Taking some online
Yes, but I owe so much money from defaulted student loans, which I probably shouldn't be talking about online here. But if you guys want, we can set up a GoFundMe page, and I'll get back into school ASAP. And I will do better next time round than I did the first time. Even I will do better for you. And those of you who know me know I keep my campaign promises.
And how many years were you in college for?
If you add up all the semesters,
Yes.
you talk about it's 10 full semesters, 10 semesters. I'm sorry, 10 years, 20 semesters, 10 years.
Jesus, that's more than Van Wilder.
Yeah. Well, hang on a second. People were telling me, you're the Van Wilder. You know they got Van Wilder. I was the Van Wilder of the University of Albany 8 years before the movie came out in 2002.
Was it about you, actually?
I was about to say, for all I know, the idea came from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't even know what it took to get elected president. I took my student loan refund check, put it into the campaign. Okay, fucked my father over financially, which I was supposed to have returned it to him. This is before I found out that he was a compulsive gambler. Okay, and he was actually embezzling my loan refund checks up till then. Okay, I thought I was fucking him. He was fucking me all along. I'm thanking him for his generous allowance. I didn't realize it was from all those documents he had me sign for Apple Bank. That was for my own fucking student loans.
Wow.
I thought I was fucking him over. I got kicked out on July 3rd, 1995, after I got elected president. I was kicked out of my apartment by my landlord, a very good guy, Yeah, well, no, he had to get paid. And a year later, no, it was less than a year later, hang on a second, it was January 22nd in a pouring torrential downpour. January 22nd, 1996, when my loan refund check came at that time, I got together with him, he took me to the bank, I paid him the $1,875 I owed him. He goes, no, you're good in my book, Larry. And Jeff Multeri, I still love you. Okay? This was a good landlord. Good landlord.
So I have to ask,
Yes,
because since we work together, you, this gentleman and I,
he is a gentleman, both of us are.
Lawrence,
Oh, Lawrence. You always say, I love when you say that. Oh, Lawrence.
where did the phrase piece of cake come from?
Excellent question.
The world wants to know.
Back to school, Rodney Dangerfield, 1986. I'm a big movie
Great
buff.
movie.
And I live for college movies, okay? So the obnoxious professor, the snob, he says, he's accusing him of academic fraud, Rodney Dangerfield's character. So in order to prove that he actually did his own work, he has to take a series of oral exams, okay?
Right.
So when they're up to him, he says, I have only one question. And he goes, in 27 parts. Delineate the three economic systems, capitalism, socialism, communism, with respect to A, means of production, B, organization and staffing, C, labor. Are you getting all this, Mr. Mellon? Yeah, it's a piece of cake. And that's where it comes from. So whenever I'm working for a sales job where they say, you have to double your quota, all of a sudden, we can do this, right? Yeah, it's a piece of cake. I got fired. You're looking at my Sunrun jacket here, okay? I'm getting cold. I'm going to put it on also. I worked for Sunrun from August of 2019 through October 31st, 2021. And I got fired because when they closed down, they shut down for COVID, then they reopened months later, but they didn't tell us at first, at least nobody told me, and a few others didn't get told either. that now, well no, you had to make two of the three following metrics. Every month you had every month you had to have 23 appointments set, any two of the following three. 23 appointments set. For me, no problem. 12 appointments kept, properly qualified, that they qualify for solar with the roof, square footage, and they're not covered by trees. The people are qualified. They own the home. They're paying enough electricity that they would do them, good to have solar. So they actually sit through it and get a proposal, and they're properly qualified. Difficult, but doable.
Okay.
The third metric, 4 sales. I'm not the salesman. I'm giving you the sales. I'm giving you the leads to the salesman. I'm giving you the salesman the leads. When they took us back, now they made it just 4 sales. I held on through the first month. The second month, I made the first round of cuts, the second round of cuts. But I was put on a PIP. That's a personal improvement program. 30 days to improve, which is, the joke goes, it's really just 30 days to find a new job. Which is what I had to do after 30 days. But that's not the funny part. That's reasonable. They can't pass for nothing, even though I'm doing, my part, but it's not bringing in money still, even if it's not my fault. They can't keep me on payroll if I'm not going to, so I have no problem with that. And they did give me my $1,000 retention bonus for coming back, even though they knew they were firing me. These are good people at Sunrun, okay? But the funny thing was, the day that they let me go, they had a big intercompany call, a group call on the iPad, on the Zoom conference or whatever it was. Right. So they or Google conference, sorry. So my boss's boss, the big boss, is on there, and he says, "Okay, guys, we're in a crunch here. You know what we got to do? Let's get 7 sales this week, okay? We can do it. I know we can do it. Normally, nobody's getting any sales, okay? But we can do this. Okay, we can do this, right? And before we do it, we can do it. Yeah, everyone goes, oh yeah, we can do this. You're committed to this. Yeah. And they can't see me. I've got my face hidden. I'm supposed to have been fired because I've just been let go like an hour or two before. So just finish up the day and then you're gone. So the last thing they hear ever was, oh yeah, we can do this. And we're all thinking, oh my God, this is fucking us. We're not going to do this. We're not even making quota. How are we going to do double quota this week and get the sales closed? So we do this, guys, right? And I just blurt out, yeah, it's a piece of cake. And that's the last fucking thing they heard that day. But these are very good people. It's a nice company. And they were especially kind to me. And I don't forget that Sun Run. Thank you. Not for firing me, but for keeping me. These are good people. But what else can I tell you?
Who are your top 5 inspirational people that have been in your life?
Oh my God.
Top 5. If you
In
wanna
no
go-
particular order. Mr. Pollock, David Bowie, Mark Simpson. That's the president who first started me off. I'll tell you that story in a moment. 3 of the top influential positive role models or negative?
Whatever you
My
want.
mother, and the creator of Donald Trump. It's
So
by
his
coincidence.
father.
What?
So his father then.
No. But if I could add some more people, Mrs. Grace Pergolizzi, my Sicilian American Italian language teacher. Dr. Renke, my AP biology teacher. I was so lucky. Harvey Cohen, PhD also, my 7th grade honors English teacher. I hope I don't leave anybody out here. Mr. Pettit and Mr. Bell, my 8th and 7th grade social studies teachers respectively. 8th and 7th grade in that order. Who else? So many others. Oh my God, so many others. Hang on. Al Mastrangelo. I can't even tell you what he did for me as principal. I'll tell you what he did to me as principal. I can't tell you what he did for me. Now, I know. I told you I took Spanish and French and Italian language in high school. How was I able to do this? Because in 11th grade, I learned that just by asking for things, you can get it, especially for good things. Nobody wants to learn. Nobody wants to study. So by asking to get into a class, the teacher will support you and they'll let you do it. Okay, the guidance counselor will love me. Oh, and Lori Puglisi, my Mrs. Puglisi, my guidance counselor. Oh my God. And while I mentioned Lori Puglisi, I want to mention Barbara Anderson, who typed out, because I was so lazy, I was such a fucking procrastinator. Mrs. Barbara Anderson, who not only got me, took care of me when 4th grade when she was the nurse. No, sorry, was it 4th grade or 5th grade? I think it was 4th grade when I got stitches, needed stitches to my chin. She was the school nurse then, but she was also the guidance counselor secretary in high school, who typed out my National Merit Scholarship application because I got the National Merit Scholarship Award, for the PSAT and SAT scores. I was the 99th percentile, the highest in the school there apparently. 209 on the selection index. And I wouldn't have gotten the scholarship without her because she was typing it for me. Who else would I say is a formative influence? Albert C. Higgins, Professor Higgins, the god of sociology at Albany. Professor Hans Polsander, still going strong at 90. My classics professor and advisor. So many teachers, so many friends. Dr. Sylvia Barnard, my professor Sylvia Barnard, my Latin professor and ancient history teacher. What?
Well, you said the principal did something to
Oh yeah, let me do you. Okay, so in high school. So I gave up my study hall to take Italian. I gave up my lunch to take Italian. I gave up my study hall to take French. It might have been vice versa, the order around. And I hated Jim. I'm the only guy, I'm not exaggerating, I'm the only guy who almost failed out of school while we were getting National Merit Scholarship and taking 3 languages, but almost failed out of school for not attending gym, okay? And this is where I learned how important it is to know the rules. So you can bend them where you can and break them if you can get away with it, or adhere to them if you have to. You don't have to take 4 years of gym. You have to take 1 year, 1 Carnegie unit of gym for every year that you're in school. So if you graduate a year early, you don't have to do gym in advance like you have to do with the English and social studies. But you do have to take gym for as long as you're in school. So I foolishly thinking, and I'm getting permission from the German teacher, Herr Krebs, that if I can get permission from the principal, I can not only audit, but take the German class, okay? So here I go down to the principal's office, and I'm waiting to speak to Mr. Mastrangelo. And I lay out in advance. I tell them I'm taking all these classes, and I've given up my lunch. I've given up my social. I've given up my study hall. I've given up my lunch. I've given up my recess. I've given up everything so I can take these classes. And if you please just excuse me from gym so I can take German. He pulls up my printout, or I don't think they had computers as much then. He pulls up, this is now 1984-85 school year. No, it would be 83-84 school year, I believe. So he pulls up my printout and he says, in all of my years, this is literally what he said. I love this guy. When I talk about Italians, this is what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about Ralph Montero and Alma Strangelo, okay? In all of my years as an educator, I have never seen anyone manipulate the system the way you have. I wish it could have stopped. I could have died a happy man. And now he drops the other shoe drops. Not only can you not take German, I'm getting rid of all your mini courses in marine biology, history, English literature. So I'm taking all these mini courses because I found that since gym is alternate days, I can take these mini courses that are also often alternate days and stagger them such that I can miss one half of the mini courses and still get credit, miss one half of the other mini courses and still get credit. And all you have to do is let me out of fucking gym. But Coach Di Gregorio, who's a great fucking guy, gave me an academic component. He had designed it to help my guidance counselor. He had designed an academic program. So I did the academic thing. Because I don't do things I don't like.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah. And that's how I was able to graduate. I didn't tell you how I was able to graduate college. Because I dropped out of school in order to, I was going to run away from home, I told you. Instead, the compromise, I went to a Hasidic rabbinical college. The rabbinical college, this is a true story. From Monday, February 2nd from Monday, February 4th to Friday, August 2nd, 1985, days which will live in infamy. But I was able to get high school credit for the rabbinical college courses. I had done most of them in advance the year before anyway.
So what I was going to ask you is, for someone who's so book smart, SATs...
Book smart, you won't meet anybody better, probably.
I agree.
At least not as diversely well read.
That's probably right. So where did it all go wrong?
It was always all going wrong. That's a funny thing. It was always all going wrong. It was always all going wrong. It was always all going wrong. At least in nursery school, they were putting, they called it the wild chair back then. Now they just whack you with 50 micrograms of Adderall or something like that. But I was always put in the wild chair. Miss Orland's my 6th grade reading honors teacher and also social studies honors teacher in 6th grade. She had I'm not exaggerating, I'm not making this up. She wrote a note. She would send me into the social studies chairman's office when I was misbehaving. She put up a sign, the Kaufman Pavilion. And literally, and you had a sign on there even when I wasn't there, the Kaufman Pavilion. She left it there. The ritual public humiliation I thrive on. Love, hate it, never ignore. Sometimes you can shame the student too. I'll wear that dunce cap over my whatever head, And she was bleeding out of whatever over me also. Out of her wherever. Megan Kelly, eat your whatever out. See, I'm plugging President Trump here, okay?
So what was your plan?
Excellent question. Excellent question. I never had a plan. I'm like an academic equivalent of a sleepwalker. I do it, as the rabbis say, lishmo, for its own sake. I do it for its own sake. I did all these classes for its own sake. The Welshman. I'm giving you a plug here, Welshman. The Welshman, one of my favorite fraternity brothers. Most of them are my favorites, but he's one of my real favorites intellectually as well. Very mature guy. He's a Landslide. You read all those books for a reason. And in my idiot savantness, I just went on the attack right there. I said, wait a minute, where'd you get that? Those aren't your words. Where'd you learn those words? He said, no, my dad said that. I knew that they weren't his words. He's a highly intelligent guy, but I knew those weren't the words of a 20-year-old. Yeah, I read all those books for a reason, but the reason was for its own sake, lishmo. I never had a plan.
So
back then.
You never wanted, a lot of people grew up wanting to be baseball players or scientists?
I would like to be this, I said. I would like to be an artist. but I couldn't draw for shit. And remember, I'm from Flushing, Queens. Well, I didn't know that because all my friends, you know how people say, well, some of my best friends are. Well, most of my best friends were Japanese in Flushing, okay? Keizuki, Eiichiro, Atsushi. There was little Atsushi, and there was big Atsushi, okay? Big Atsushi, as you might imagine, was a big kid. He was born on January 1st. So he was a year older and thus bigger. This is 6 years old, you know, where growth, you know, goes every month, you know? So big Atsushi was bigger than the littlest guy in the class because he was a year old, almost a whole year older. If he'd born a day earlier, he'd be the smallest guy or the youngest guy in the next class, but or the previous class. But I was born September 20th, so I wasn't that big a kid. I was tall, but I wasn't really big. Little Atsushi was my friend. Now, when I talk about Asians, okay, when I talk about good neighbors, you don't know, you probably do, but I'm guessing most people don't know what good neighbors are until you've lived in an Asian neighborhood, okay? Especially if you're their boy. Little Atsushi, and this is before masks came into America. Asians are exceedingly polite by culture and considerate like nobody else. You will see in the 70s and 80s in the old newsreels, people walking around, you know, with masks because they have a cold or the flu because they don't want to infect anybody else, God forbid. Well, let me tell you about Little Atsushi. For my 6-year-old birthday party, which was a Charlie Brown theme, and I remember my mother drew and cut out handmade Charlie Brown figures, you know, with hats. I remember it well.
Which one were you?
What's that?
Which one were you?
I think Charlie Brown. She
You
had
were
to make
Charlie
she had to
Brown?
make my own. Yeah.
Who was Pigpen?
I don't know. I don't think we had a pig pen. There would have been a Lucy. There would have been a Linus. There would have been a Schroeder. Yeah. But I was Charlie Brown. But anyway, but Little Atsushi comes to the door, rings the doorbell with his parents, in tow with his parents. And they won't come in because he has a cold, they explained. He said he didn't want to come, you know, because he has a cold. He doesn't want you to get sick. But he wanted you to have his most prized possession. And he opens it. This is his gift to me, okay? In a little box, a perfectly preserved giant monarch butterfly. And I don't remember whatever happened to the butterfly. It didn't last very long. Nothing of mine ever did. But the memory lasts to this day. The memory lasts to this day. He wanted me to have his most prized possession. He couldn't even come to the party, but he comes to the door. Yeah.
So to recap, you want to be an artist.
At first, I wanted to be an artist. I don't know why. But I couldn't draw worth shit, I found out. And all my friends who were Japanese, most of them, you know, they could all draw beautifully, like you mentioned. So I gave that up. Then I wanted to be an archaeologist. But I didn't know that an archaeologist, it's a paleontologist. I didn't know the term. You know, I didn't have a big brother teach me this shit. What should have been my big brother, David, died. He died within 30 days of birth. Bad lungs, lung ailment, congenital, yeah. He's my favorite sibling. I never knew him. He was born December 28th, nobody else can laugh about death like we can. This is great. He was born December 28th, 1966. No, I'm sorry, born December 28th, 1965, died January 27th, 1966. David Parnes Kaufman. I didn't even know about that, brother, until I went to my great-grandpa's funeral and interment, November 26th, I believe it was 1977. Or maybe it was the next day after he died, but I think he died on the 26th. But in any case, it was a Saturday. In any case, we buried him. And this is my mother's family's funeral gravesite, okay? And I see David Parnes Kaufman. Now that's weird, because my father's father, my paternal grandfather, who was a chief assistant attorney general of the state of Maryland when he died on October 10th, 1956, his name was David Kaufman, but he didn't have a middle name. How did I know that? Because my dad had shared his dog tags with me and said David Nunn Kaufman. Nunn meaning no middle name. That's how the military identifies you on dog tags if there's no middle name. Nunn. Moreover, he wasn't part of that branch of the family. He's from the other, Cumberland, Maryland. Moreover, still, I had seen his plot. I had seen his gravestone in Cumberland, Maryland when we went to visit my great-grandmother, who was still alive until she died March 4th when I was in the rabbinical college at age 90. So I didn't understand. I said, Mom, whose grave is that? Is that Grandpa David? She says, no, I'll tell you when we get back to the house. I said, no, tell me now. So she won't tell me. She won't tell me in the car. So I'm wondering, I said, what did they create? And you know, I'm 10 years old and I'm trying to come up with possible scenarios. I said, what did they cremate him and bury half the ashes in this grave and have the other things. No, it's like, she takes me upstairs to my great Aunt Belle's house, because it was her father that passed away, my great grandpa, we called him Papa. She's, you have a brother. It's like, I didn't know this. And this is how I found out that she never would have told me probably otherwise.
Wow.
Wow.
Weird. Isn't that weird?
Yes.